Hi, this is Sydney with CR Surf TV, and we're going to be interviewing Greg today about rental cars.
Hello.
So, Greg, what's your experience with renting vehicles in Costa Rica?
I started renting vehicles on my first surf trip back in 1996. That was about 26 years ago. Since then, I made 40 trips down to Costa Rica. I've lived there for 7 years. And also, I've planned trips for over 1,000 clients.
Okay. So then why did you start as a travel advisor?
Well, after a few unpleasant experiences renting a car in Costa Rica, I wanted to help other travelers find a better price for their rentals, and also to help them negotiate if there were any damages or any problems that they had during their trip.
So then what in particular do you look for when researching vehicles?
Well, when I'm looking for a vehicle, the first thing I do is I check with the car rental company to see if it's trustworthy. I'm looking for a company that has multiple locations around the country, that has an inventory of newer vehicles, and also the price is important.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you think I need a four-wheel drive if you're going to be in Costa Rica, or all-wheel drive?
Well, it really depends on the time of year that you want to go. During the rainy season, there could be some heavy showers. There on the unpaved roads, it could get quite muddy. There could be some potholes, and for those conditions, I would recommend a four-wheel drive. But if you're just driving from the airport to a town like Tamarindo, or going from San Jose to Jaco, those roads are very well paved. So in those times, you could just take a car. And also during the dry season, which is from middle of December to about the end of April, during those months, you could also get away with renting a vehicle without four-wheel drive.
Okay. So since we are talking about times going into Costa Rica, what are the most cheapest and expensive times to rent a vehicle?
Oh, well, generally, the farther into the rainy season, the cheaper it is to rent a car. I've seen the cheapest rates in September and October, and I've seen the most expensive rates right around the biggest holidays of the year, and that would be Christmas and Easter week.
Okay. What about insurance? What's the mandatory insurance in Costa Rica?
Well, that's a question I get a lot, and I know clients are trying to save on their rentals because they want to spend that money on tours or hotels or going out to eat. But Costa Rica requires that you buy what's called third-party liability insurance. And that means if you get in a wreck and you hit somebody else's car, that insurance covers the damage to their vehicle. And if you injure them, it helps cover their medical expenses. So even if your credit card or your personal renter's insurance has coverage for collision, you're still going to have to pay this third-party liability insurance with any car rental agency in the country.
So then, out of all of that, which insurance do you recommend?
Well, that's the second most popular question I get, and really it depends on each client's tolerance to risk. Let's say that you're just driving to one location and then you're going to be spending time on the beach and maybe going out to a local restaurant, but not being too adventuresome. Well, in those cases, the chance of you getting in an accident or having any damages to your vehicle are going to be less. In other cases, if you're driving around the city and you're in heavy traffic, or if you're going off-road and you're going up steep mountains where you could possibly have some rocks that hit the side of the car or a branch that might damage the windshield, then you might want to get that additional coverage.
Right.
So many of the car rental agencies I work with, they offer the minimum third-party liability. They offer like a basic collision coverage that comes with a deductible. It can be $750 or $1,000, and that would be the maximum amount you pay. And then they also have full coverage, which means you could basically you're not going to walk away from the vehicle, but you won't be responsible for any damages. And that coverage is the most expensive, but it also leaves you with the most peace of mind.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So then what should you do when you pick up the car?
Well, after you made the reservation and you get the confirmation and you know what the price is, when you get to the car rental agency, the first thing you want to do is read the contract carefully. Make sure you know what the exceptions are. So if you're driving drunk or if you're driving through a river and you get into an accident, well, then your insurance isn't going to be covered. Um, that's just one example. Also, you could ask to take a picture of your passport and also your entry stamp when you got into the country, the immigration stamped your passport. Take a picture of that, and then that way you have a digital copy in case your passport gets lost or stolen. And then the third thing you want to do is you want to really inspect the vehicle carefully. Um, I have a whole routine that I go through when I pick up a rental vehicle for myself. I look at the tires, check the tread, make sure it's got plenty of tread. I look at the spare tire, make sure that's in good condition, make sure they have all the safety equipment that's legally required. Every rental vehicle should have a jack, it should have a safety triangle. So I want to make sure that's in there. Then I look at the outside of the vehicle, I look for scratches or dents. I have them mark every little scratch so that just in case, they come back and say, hey, you did this. I could say, no, I didn't. Here's the mark. And I know some clients who have even taken a video of the vehicle when they picked it up to show what scratches or dents they have. Then I go inside the vehicle. I start the car, check the engine, check the windshield wipers, check the radio, make sure that works, check that the windows go up and down. Make sure the AC works. That's very important. And the lights, of course, and the signals, because most of the vehicles are very new and they're very well maintained, but there might be a glitch or something that they missed. And if that happens, then I want to be able to switch out the vehicle right there and not wait a day or two and find out that there's a problem.
Right.
So I do that when I pick up the vehicle.
Okay. So then besides that and just checking the inside, the outside, and all the mechanics of the car and making sure it's safe and in place, what are some good tips while just driving around Costa Rica?
Well, definitely follow the speed limit. Generally, it's 80 kilometers an hour on the highway, and then it drops to 60 as you're coming close to a town, and then it drops to 40 kilometers an hour. That's like 25 miles an hour while you're in town, or if you're going by a school. Slow down and enjoy the view. There's no reason to rush anywhere. Be very careful when you're passing. You might see some crazy drivers passing on a double yellow line, and you might be tempted to do that, but it is breaking the law, and the fines are very expensive. So let's say you did get a ticket for speeding or crossing a double yellow line. Well, you will get the ticket from the police officer, and then you can let your car rental company know, and then that way they will help you pay for the ticket. They might add it to the bill so that you don't have to actually go into the bank and pay the fine. But you want to let the car rental company know so that no other fees are attached to that ticket. If you get in an accident, first thing you want to do is make sure you're safe, pull off to the side of the road, and then call the police. Just call 911. The police will come out and they will do a report. You want to make sure you get a copy of that report, and then you want to tell the car rental company what happened, send them a copy of the report, and then they'll help you take care of any damages to your vehicle. They'll help you get a new replacement vehicle, and hopefully your insurance that you bought will cover the damages up to the extent of the, or anything more than the deductible. So those would be what I'd recommend you do while you're driving around the country.
Okay. And then my last question, what about returning? How is that process?
Well, okay, I understand a lot of clients come back to the car rental office and they're rushing to get to the airport, catch their flight, but you want to give yourself plenty of time when you come back to the car rental office to make sure that everything is okay with the agreement and that you're not going to be charged extra after you leave. So what I do is I go with them around the vehicle to make sure that there are no new scratches or dents. I have them sign off on the sheet showing that there's no additional damages, and then I make sure I have a copy of that. Then I ask them to rip up, if they made a deposit slip, I ask them to rip that up so I'm not charged for anything unknown. And then I just double check with them to say, hey, are we good? Is everything paid for? And I get a verbal agreement that yes, everything's taken care of. And then the car rental agencies I work with, they all offer shuttles back to the airport from their office. So I try to give myself about 30 minutes of additional time for checking out the vehicle, getting the copy of the agreement signed, and then catching the shuttle to my departing gate.
Okay, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
this has been a load of information. It's been very helpful. My last question is, how would we get in contact with you to start a reservation?
Oh, well, that's easy. Just go to crsurf.com, and then you'll see right at the top of the page, car rentals. You could click on that and you'll see the rental agencies I work with, which are Alamo, Adobe, and Vamos, all known for their great customer service, low prices, and locations around the country. So once you go there, you could book a reservation right online, or there's a form you could fill out, and it just tell me the dates, the type of vehicle you want, which kind of insurance that you prefer, and I'll come up with a custom quote for you, and I can usually get a reservation made in less than 24 hours. But what I recommend though is during those busy times of the year, Easter week, Christmas week, that you make your reservation a couple of months out so that the vehicle you want does not sell out. You could also find me on Facebook, just facebook.com/crsurf. Or if you prefer to use WhatsApp, my number is 321-890-5761.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much for all the information. It's been awesome.
Well, thank you for asking these questions, Sydney.
Yeah.
I hope to see you in Costa Rica.
Yes, I can't wait.
All right.